Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another Watcher. This one is titled The Forgotten Pharaoh Puppet History. I'm not trying to read the first part. It's Hatshepsut. Hephaestus? I don't. Fuck. I'm not. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Let's get into today's story. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cuddle up with someone special. Let's get acknowledged, intrigued, intellectualized, even. Yeah.
Oh, welcome one and all to Puppet History Online University. Today we'll be taking an ever-winding look at yet another chapter in the heavy book we call history, while our guests ruthlessly compete for the coveted title of History Master. I am obviously your beloved host, the Professor. Ryan Bergara, are you ready?
I'm good. I just finished my little snack and I'm ready to go.
Oh good, snacks are important. Ryan Graham, our special guest, are you ready?
I am. I'm ready to be here and excited to be in an online course.
Ho, then let's crack in.
And excited to be in an online course.
I've just realized there's a bit of a hiccup. We've got two Ryans today. Just to keep things clear, I think, Ryan Bergara, we're going to actually have to demote you to just Bergara.
You can call me RB if you want to.
Oh, Arby's.
Yeah, Arby's. Oh, let's just call you Arby's.
No, don't call me Arby's.
Beef Man.
Beef man.
I'm
the
fine
beef
with
guy.
Beef Man. Literally anything but Arby's.
Behold, ancient Egypt. Today, a popular tourist destination due in part to its fancy cemetery, but in the millennia before the Common Era, it was one of the most vibrant and powerful empires on Earth. Atop this kingdom sat the pharaohs, the rulers of the Nile and its surrounding environs. Today, we're talking about one that I'm willing to bet neither of our contestants has ever heard of, and that until about 100 years ago, no one in the world had really heard of. Hatshepsut.
Yep, never heard of that.
No, not ringing a bell?
Say that one more time. Hatshepsut.
Hatshepsut.
Ketchup.
But first, let's
Hot
talk about the
ketchup.
pharaohs. Now, pharaohs were kings, sure, but also so
Dude's name is fucking Hot Ketchup, and I will not hear another word about it.
much more. They controlled the military, most of the land in Egypt, and were intermediaries with the gods, like if the king were also the pope. It's a lot of power.
No one man should have all that power.
Ooh, a bar. Come on, Kanye. We love it.
Beef Man got the bars.
Yes. Wow. Kanye might consider himself a modern day pharaoh.
I think
He's
he
actually
said that,
referred to
yeah.
himself as a pharaoh in one of
Okay.
his songs. In Monster, I believe he calls himself a pharaoh.
He does. Right after a very.
Yep.
Something about
Yep.
we all remember that one. With this divine status came an obsession with building things. The more things you built, the more surface area you had in which to etch your lineage and triumphs as a ruler. This was especially important for the ancient Egyptians, as one of their beliefs about eternal life after death was that it was contingent on some form of memory of them existing in the real world. All the elaborate tombs, statues, and temples that still exist
You're only truly gone when everyone forgets about you. Ooh, that's dark. Never mind.
today were built to ensure the spirits of the pharaohs lived forever, preserved in the memories of the living.
No, it's kind of like Coco. It's like if the last person forgets you, then you just disappear forever, which is like kind of sad, but also kind of beautiful.
It is like
Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Oh shit.
Our first question, goody. Now,
This is all what we've truly been waiting for.
for a history point each, name as many of the approximately 170 pharaohs to rule Egypt as you can.
Oh,
shit.
God. Okay.
I think I'm getting sick. I actually remembered I didn't get to study this assignment because I knew I was getting sick and I knew I wouldn't be able to do this question because of the illness, so I didn't put a lot of time into studying this. So I don't know this question, but it's because I'm sick and the sun was in my eyes.
Okay. Well, yeah. This is. I was fully
King Tut. I know one. I know King Tut.
expecting multiple choice. I didn't know.
Me
we were
too.
Gonna,
Yeah.
Wasn't Ramses one? Like Ramses 1 through 7 at least. King Tut. There was a Roman that was a pharaoh too, wasn't they? Right. Mark Anthony? No?
I'm
Expect a
starting
short answer
with
portion.
a real zipper for you.
Were women allowed to be pharaohs?
That's a story for another time. If I'm not mistaken, they kinda could be, right? Wasn't there like only one lady that actually wore like the full-on pharaoh garb, and they did not like that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with my guess.
Beef Man, why don't you go first?
King Tut, uncommon is in smaller ones, and then I put Cleopatra.
That's two. That's 2 points for you. That's true. Yes, Tutankhamun was his full name. I would have accepted just Tut, frankly.
All I know is King Tut. And then I put Nefertiti because I forgot about Cleopatra.
Oh.
And now I'm like, Nefertiti was a goddess, not a pharaoh. And then I also put Hotep, and then I put Kanye West, and then I put Carl probably.
That does sound like a pharaoh. Never.
Fucking Carl. I forgot. Fucking Carl. I forget about Carl every damn time. Anyone else forget about Carl? I'm a bitch.
Nefertiti was actually the wife of a pharaoh, so she was a queen. And frankly, I think that's worth a point. Let's see.
King Tut?
Tut, for sure. And Hotep. Hotep was, I believe, a pharaoh, right?
You believe?
You know, it's a common element of their names. There's Imhotep and Amenhotep. So,
2
frankly,
points.
you know what? I'll give you a point for that.
Shocker.
Now, if you wanted to join the ranks of those 170 mostly forgotten
Poor Arby's. He ain't got a chance in hell, does he?
god kings of Egypt, the easiest way was to be born the eldest son of the current pharaoh and his queen. Even then,
That does make it pretty damn easy.
though, it wasn't always simple. Pharaohs were polygamous, but only one wife was considered the queen. Apart from this queen, pharaohs would keep a harem, who weren't technically royals, but instead considered lowborns. If the royal queen hadn't given birth to a son by the time Egypt needed a fresh pharaoh, a son from one of the women in the harem could be chosen heir. Now you can see how this system could make succession a real mess. And that was the case with our pharaoh de jour, Hatshepsut.
Did they live in the palaces with them? Because it was a harem, so like.
Look, if I'm a pharaoh and I've got my wife, and then I've got
My wife.
yeah, Borat. Thanks, Ryan. Rotten jelly bean. Come on,
There it
man.
is.
Yeah, I guess if I have a bunch of wives, I guess I'm, putting them up in some nice apartments, giving them some bowls of grapes.
Because like I've heard of like bathing in milk and honey, which sounds kind of
Ooh,
fun. So like
yeah.
maybe they took like nice baths and lotions and stuff.
Apparently, that's something J-Lo does.
Does she?
She bathes in.
And milk, at least, for sure. I don't know about the honey, but yeah, I read that. Or no, I watched that on one of those weird Vanity Fair things I do in a
You
day.
watched J-Lo bathe in milk and honey? Hatshepsut's father was a man named Thutmose I. He was a charismatic and, by all accounts, effective leader, hopping into power around 1500 BCE. A military man who expanded Egypt's kingdom by force, there's one story of Thutmose sailing home to Thebes with the body of a vanquished foe dangling from his ship as a warning to all who had the foolish notion to challenge the pharaoh. Brutal.
When I was in college, I had a
Here we
spider
go.
infestation in my house
Yeah?
with my
Oh.
roommates. So what I did was I captured one of the spiders, and I did burn it alive under a Slurpee cup and left the corpse in the middle of the garage as an example. Guess what? No more spiders.
Spiders, beautiful little bugs. Leave them alone.
What do you have, like pet spiders or something?
I mean, yeah, kind of raise them like chickens. I keep them in my backyard. I do have a pretty steady diet of jelly beans, but I also have to get some protein in there. So usually when they're good and fat,
Oh.
And though their spirits may live forever, the physical body of every
I like the sincerity of his. Oh.
pharaoh did, spoiler alert, eventually fail. When that time came for Thutmose I, even though Hatshepsut was the child of Thutmose and his queen Ahmose, pharaohdom passed not to Hatshepsut, but to the sickly Thutmose II, whose mother was a non-royal secondary wife. Another open-ended question. Why was Thutmose II made pharaoh instead of Hatshepsut when Thutmose I died?
Are we allowed hints?
Are we?
Think about that. A hint, a hint. No, you're just gonna have to take your shot.
Love it. Shoot your shot.
Ryan Graham, I believe.
I'm gonna say. Okay, was the kid actually the pharaohs? Or maybe there was something wrong with him. Or maybe he just didn't want it. Maybe he didn't want to become, maybe he was like, take this job and shove it.
Believe in you.
Thank you.
Beef Man, what do you got?
I put dude had dragons and a bangin' bod.
Dude had dragons, a thing that doesn't exist.
And a bangin' bod.
A bangin' bod. So
Yeah.
a thing that definitely exists. Ryan, what do you got?
I said it was
What do you
because
see?
the first wife died, like, before she could give him a son, so that's how he got it.
Well, unfortunately, you're both incorrect and not even close. If I were going to give a history point, I guess I would give it to Ryan because he's at least trucking in the realm of reality. So I'm going to give a history point to Ryan Graham. Congratulations,
know if I agree
you
with that.
earned it.
Thank you.
But the answer is that Hatshepsut was a woman. That's right. I buried the lead in a pyramid of factoids, but we're talking about a female pharaoh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's
Love to
cool.
hear it.
Now, just because Hatshepsut was passed over didn't mean she was out of the picture. In a pretty gross custom, royal children often married their siblings, and when she was around 12 years old, Hatshepsut was wed to her half-brother, Thutmose II, the new pharaoh.
Hot.
A bit old-fashioned.
You know, the best way to ensure some nepotism is by a little incest.
I guess that's true. Thanks for the words of wisdom there, Beef Man.
It's pretty gross.
Hatshepsut had only given birth to a daughter.
I have no comment on any of it. I don't understand it. Man, I fell in love with him. There was something about it. He reminded me of my dad. What?
By the time her husband died. So the throne, once again, passed to a son born not by a queen, but by a member of Thutmose II's harem. The kingdom of Egypt was...
Another special sex pal. Oh, come on, hot ketchup. How did you... Damn.
was to be ruled by the appropriately named Thutmose III.
So does she have to like move out, like because her husband died? Does she have to go away?
Well, there's a bit of a problem here, and let me elaborate for you. There's one problem in declaring Thutmose III king of all of Egypt. He was a baby. He was a little baby boy. Today, thanks to the film Boss Baby, we know that babies can be smart and effective leaders. But Egypt needed someone to keep the throne warm while Thutmose III learned the skills needed to lead, such as how to command an army and how to not make boom boom in his diapers. Because Thutmose III's mother was a lowborn, Hatshepsut, who had been part of the royal family since birth, took over as queen regent. Basically, she had the best resume for the job.
She's like a temp, if you will. Like she's filling in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or a seat filler at the Oscars.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Now, for the first few years, everything went according to plan. Thutmose III learned and grew while Hatshepsut took care of the busy work that entails leading all of ancient Egypt. Sometime before Thutmose turned 8, however, Hatshepsut decided to put in for a promotion. Enough with the queen regent stuff. She wished to be co-pharaoh.
Oh.
Now, what did Thutmose and the Egyptian elite do when Hatshepsut said she wanted to be co-king of Egypt? A, they said, okay. B, they tried to kill her with an asp. Or C, they exiled her from Egypt by sending her floating down the Nile.
I mean, it's not uncommon for them to send something floating down the damn river. It happens. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they tried to kill her with a snake. I don't think they're going to be like, yeah, okay. I don't see that. I'm going to say C. They exiled her from Egypt by sending her floating down the Nile. Yeah, I believe it to be true. I believe it to be true, people.
Yo,
Oh, okay. All great answers.
Beef Man, what you got?
I got B, asps. Very dangerous.
And Ryan.
I also put B, killer with an asp, because, you know, I feel like they wouldn't
They're
just
dangerous.
go okay. And I feel like exile's too. She could come back. It's too tempting.
We also see a lot of like snakes being used to assassinate people in like films from this time, which I imagine must draw on some kind of historical fact.
I guess you would call this assassination.
Ooh,
Where is my train?
Yeah, I got it.
we got it. We knew what you meant.
I got a little. Well, let's find out what happened.
You didn't even recognize that I quoted a very famous line from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Unbelievable.
Yes, another day for me, Hatshepsut. Ruling Egypt while my sort of stepkid, sort of nephew, grows up to replace me. Actually, that sounds kind of like bullshit to me. You know what? I want to be co-king. These are the elites over here. You mean like you want to marry your sort of stepkid to become queen again? No, I think I should be like also pharaoh. It's me, Thutmose III. You know, I may be just, where the fuck am I go? Okay, great. I may be just a little boy, but I'm also pharaoh. What would that make me if you're co-pharaoh? Well, I guess it would make you also pharaoh, but I'd take care of the, the governance. Okay. Yeah, that works. Yes, that sounds good to us, the elites. There's a lot of puppets up here. Okay, bye.
Good for them.
Really? So they was just okay with it? I'm surprised. I am fucking shocked and amazed. I'm not getting jelly beans this time.
I guess. I mean, it seems like the decision was made out of laziness, but either way, still progressive.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it's progressive. I feel I would have expected them to just kill her. I love to see
That's exactly what I expected.
Hi, I'm back. Well, wow. Oh, so no points for anybody, but yeah, kind of chill, right? They're just like, all right, cool, go for it, man. Now, to Hatshepsut's credit, the fact that everyone was cool with this was no
Do you, bud?
mere coincidence. As regent, she had handpicked talented outsiders to fill the key positions in the regime, instead of choosing people from elite families. That meant if those officials wanted to keep their positions, they needed Hatshepsut in the throne. So look, she's got a little bit of leverage here.
So it's less like.
So everybody's digging hot ketchup. I mean, I don't mind ketchup to be a little warm. I eat ketchup on burgers. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're vegan burgers, but I eat it on there. And sugar-free ketchup. And when it's on there, it gets warm. So yeah, let's get us some hot ketchup.
Them being progressive and more of like, I want to keep my job, so. Okay.
Yeah. No, I guess if we're looking for the noble angle, it's that she actually did handpick talented people for the roles and didn't just fill it up with, the usual nepotism.
I was gonna say it's almost kind of like if like a president picked a really shitty vice president so that you would not want to assassinate said president.
So, being the daughter of a pharaoh, the widow of another pharaoh,
That would be fucking genius, though. Mr. President, who do you want to be your vice president? The derpiest looking motherfucker you can find. We want to make sure that if someone out there has the idea to shoot me in my fucking face, they're gonna look at him and be like, You know what I mean?
and stepmom to yet another pharaoh, all of whom had the same name, by the way, not to mention being the only person on the planet with Egypt leading experience, didn't mean keeping the title of co-pharaoh was a given. How did Hatshepsut go about earning the loyalty of her people? A, she launched a public infrastructure project. B, she enslaved them. Or C, she sent the army to conquer modern-day Eritrea.
Yeah.
Okay, A or C? I'm gonna go with C. I want to see some Uspa.
Yep.
These don't sound optimistic.
I would like to think that it was like, I'm going to do a public good, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, the way history works
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
it's very rare that people are like, let's do a good thing to stay in power. I pick war.
I put slavery for B.
Beefman's going with slavery. Ryan, you're going with war.
It was either that or war. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, I'm happy to tell you, you both don't receive any history points because the answer is
Sick.
A.
Wow.
yeah.
Who knew Egypt was so progressive? Wow,
Sick.
what a lovely space.
Well, now, okay. I mean,
Man, I want to go back to Egypt. Bro, back in time. Let's do it. Egyptians were some chill people. What do you, bud? Oh, here, let's see what you can do. No, you want to give her a try? Fuck yeah. I love it. I love Egypt. Let's all go.
They did have plenty of slave labor going on, and
They did.
Those stones were very heavy.
That is unfortunate. Yes, 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 yes. But they probably gave you pep talks the whole time you was out there.
That's true.
Yes, infrastructure in ancient Egypt was a little different than the roads and bridges we think of today. For instance, Hatshepsut built some of the largest Egyptian obelisks ever constructed at 100 feet tall. Now, you modern-day city slickers may not think 100 feet is that impressive. Heck, the Washington Monument is a 555-foot tall obelisk. Unlike the Washington Monument, however.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, her son had her name stricken from like all of history when he got older because he hated her. Right?
Ancient Egyptian obelisks were made from one solid piece of stone. That's as if a 10-story apartment building were carved out of a solid piece of rock and then lifted into place.
How the fuck did they do that?
Yeah, what?
You know?
Camels.
Oh, I mean, look, if I know anything about the beef man, he would argue that
Aliens, baby.
some ancient aliens did it. Because certainly people in ancient times weren't smart enough to build pulleys, right?
I don't know. I'm with the beef man on this one. I feel
I don't think it's a matter of smarts.
I want to see it be done. I want to see
I'd love to see it.
Look at that. In addition to obelisks, Hatshepsut built one of the most magnificent structures in all
Well, look at that.
the ancient world. An immense temple at Deir el-Bahari. Pools and gardens with aromatic trees populated the temple's lower levels. And 100 enormous statues of Hatshepsut as a sphinx stood guard.
And then they destroyed the faces of them too. I think I know this.
Walls
Not like the video, but I think I know like what they're talking about.
were covered with inscriptions detailing Hatshepsut's triumphs as a ruler. Apart from the building spree, Hatshepsut aimed to establish legitimacy by building the only kind of loyalty that really matters. Brand loyalty, baby. Whoa! What did Hatshepsut do to establish her brand? A, she changed her name. B, she changed her gender. Or C, she mythologized the story of her birth.
Believe she changed her name.
Okay.
All right, Beef Man, what you got?
It's a C, show me the birth certificate.
Jesus, dude.
Such a stupid part of our history.
Ryan.
I put B, gender, only because we've been on a very progressive wave, and I would
That's
love for them to be like, yeah, the first transgender pharaoh.
Well, let's find out.
I hope you're right. I hope
I
you're
do
right.
too. It would be very cool.
I'm co-pharaoh, which is great, but I need a total rebranding. That's why I hired you, famous madman, Don Draper, a reference that makes total sense.
He has a suit too.
Look, we're just
Definitely.
having fun here, you guys.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, now here's what I'm thinking, Hatshepsut. We'll give you a new haircut. Okay, I like that. But how about instead, we really hammer home to everyone that as the daughter of a pharaoh, my mom got knocked up by the god Amen, who had simply taken on the appearance of my dad. I mean, I suppose we could do that, but Hatshepsut. Also, that's not my name anymore. Hatshepsut. What does that even mean? My name's Ma'at Kare now. Ma'at Kare. Ma'at, or truth. Ka, or soul. Re, the sun god. Truth is the soul of the sun god. Ma'at Kare. Well, that's nonsense. That won't that just confuse? Also, from now on, I'm to be depicted as a man. Ma'at Kare, you have a vision.
So for once, it was the mysterious invisible D, all of the above. And I didn't say it.
Wait, what?
So it's D, all of the above, a trick question.
Huh? Wow, crazy. All of the above. We haven't had one of those before, huh?
Who knew that this was even a possibility, though?
Yeah,
I feel like
well, this guy doesn't like to play by the rules.
I'm a bit of a bad boy, you know.
That's what you want to call it.
I'll call it that. Yeah, I'm a bad boy. Yeah, so unfortunately, no history points for either of you. Hatshepsut, yeah, I'm sorry. It's all right. It's all right. I appreciate the hustle, but yeah, a bit of a curveball there. Hatshepsut went through quite the transformation. And while Ma'at Kare is the name most frequently found on her monuments, for our story, I'm going to keep calling her by the name she had when we first met, Hatshepsut. Not that I ever met her, personally. Before continuing, let me explain the gender thing real quick. Though in early statues and carvings, Hatshepsut was portrayed as a demure woman, eventually she started being portrayed as a bare-chested, flail and crook-wielding man. Now this was not an attempt to trick people into thinking she was actually a man. Egyptian art depicted things not necessarily as they really were, but a bit more metaphorical. Written references to Hatshepsut still made it clear she was a woman, just one depicted as a man wearing a fake beard. Though the full reason for this change remains a mystery, theories range from attempting to legitimize her rule to taking some of the ancient sting out of the fact that the co-pharaoh Thutmose III was sharing the title with was a woman. So a lot to chew on there.
What is he doing at this time? Her co-pharaoh.
He's a little baby.
Oh, he's still a baby at this
diapers.
point.
Yeah.
Got it.
He's probably sucking on his thumb. Maybe
Serving up turds like hotcakes.
yeah, chasing a bumblebee. I don't know.
Things kids do. Things babies
Yeah,
do.
things kids do.
Chasing a bumblebee.
Yeah, you never chased a bumblebee as a little boy, Beef Man?
No. So you're raising spiders for killing.
Yeah,
You're chasing around bumblebees, terrorizing them. What else are you doing in your free time?
just chilling. Perfect segue here. Now, while Hatshepsut was gradually transforming her brand, Thutmose III was also gradually transforming into a man who would be capable of running Egypt by himself. Thank you very much. While Hatshepsut did a great job of making sure no strongmen with militia and a bone to pick usurped the throne, the biggest threat to her job was in reality her co-worker slash stepson slash nephew. So yeah, you know, she's got to watch out. I know he's a little boy, but little boys can be dangerous.
I feel like kids are the scariest creatures on the planet. No?
That's true.
They're full of germs, and then they also can be murderous, and I'm like, no, kids are
I mean, even if they're not full of germs or murdering, kids are just plain creepy. So luckily, by most indications, the two had a great relationship. While Hatshepsut was in charge, it would have been relatively easy for an accidental death to befall the boy king. Instead, she made sure he would be well prepared for life as a pharaoh, having him educated as a scribe, a priest, and a soldier. He excelled at this latter vocation and was eventually promoted to commander-in-chief of the army.
Wow, so she's like also a great person.
She's
like
doing-
very
yeah,
forward-thinking.
She's making sure he's a well-rounded individual. It's pretty cool.
oh no.
You sound so sad.
Yeah, well, why are you so sad?
The way history works, I feel like she's doing all these amazing things to him, and he's gonna usurp her. Like, I feel like once he actually becomes, that's why I got sad, because I'm like, history's sad.
History is
You're
sad.
probably right.
He's gonna turn out to be a dick.
All of this was happening during a time of relative prosperity and peace for Egypt, which every leader throughout history will tell you means one big problem: what to do with the army. If Hatshepsut disbanded the army, Egypt would be defenseless. If she sent them to war and they lost, she would be blamed and usurped. If she sent them to war and they won, well, then Thutmose III would get all the credit and perhaps diminish his Aunt Mom's power. So, what did Hatshepsut do with her army? A. She sent them on a military campaign down the Nile while ordering Thutmose III to stay home. B. She sent them on a trade expedition. Or C. She put them to work building a pyramid.
B. We'll say B.
Beef Man, give it to
I'm
me.
gonna go B, trade. That seems to be the most logical, and she seems to be fairly logical.
Interesting. And Ryan?
C, pyramid, baby. 'Cause
Love
I
a
feel
pyramid.
like, yeah, we love a good pyramid, and I feel like she wants to keep them an eye. Because if you send them away, something could happen. But
True.
if they're in town and in work, you see them and you know that they're busy.
Solid logic there, but unfortunately, points to Beef Man. Yes, she sent them on a trade expedition. So Hatshepsut, the great ruler that she was turning out to be, turned this potential problem into a benefit. She sent the army on a trading expedition to the mysterious and lost land of Punt, where no Egyptian had been for over 500 years. Now, the trade route that opened up was a lucrative one, bringing ivory, incense, and rare animal skins to Egypt. Ancient records boast, quote, "Never was brought the like of this for any king who has been since the beginning." These riches garnered further support from the elites who liked fancy things. Consumerism isn't just a modern scourge, folks, which reminds me, click below to buy some of the finest merch in all of history.
Wow.
Yeah, look, I'm a shill for my own shit, guys. I'm on a t-shirt, I'm happy about it. Sue me.
Brutal. Brutal.
In 1457 BCE, after an uncommonly peaceful and prosperous 22-year reign, Hatshepsut died, finally giving Thutmose III full control over Egypt. Giving him time to learn the royal ropes was well worth it, as he too had a successful reign. Using his skills as a military leader, Thutmose III expanded Egypt's control by force and resulted in Egypt's status as one of the wealthiest nations on earth.
Wow.
See what happens when you teach the children?
As for Hatshepsut, thanks to her many infrastructure projects and the profitable trading partnership with Punt, it seemed the female pharaoh's name should have been remembered forever. Except until the early 1900s, no one really knew she existed, huh? Whoa! Why had no one heard of Hatshepsut? A. Hatshepsut's hieroglyphic name had been mistranslated to mean period of no ruler. B. Her stepson destroyed almost all records of her existence. Or C. Archaeologists just weren't very good until the 1900s.
B.
Beefman, Sakatumi.
I think it's B, dude's gonna dude.
Dude's gonna dude. Okay. Ryan.
I put B because history is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a common refrain on this show, but an accurate one. Points to both of you.
Wow. I knew he was going to be a
Perfect.
dick. Man.
Yeah, you called it a while ago, man. You really did.
It's a little heartbreaking. Towards the end of Thutmose III's reign, around 20 years after the death of his predecessor aunt, Hatshepsut's many monuments, statues, and carvings were all destroyed, replaced with the likeness of her husband, Thutmose II. Remember, in ancient Egypt, the consequence of this wasn't simply a destroyed legacy, but literally cursing her to damnation. With no statues or recordings of Hatshepsut, she could no longer enjoy the eternal life those depictions were meant to promise her.
Damned her to hell.
I didn't even think about that. That was at
Yeah.
the top of this. Oh my God.
It's messed up.
Wow, that is so messed up.
After all she did for him!
Right, yeah, she could have easily gotten rid of him when he was a baby.
You know how
and-
easy it is to kill a baby?
Very.
You drop a snake in the crib. There were snakes everywhere. All you have to do is leave the room and a snake will end up in that crib. Now the reason why Thutmose III tried to erase Hatshepsut's name from history is a mystery that still eludes historians today. Jealousy perhaps? Or an effort to tidy up the story of his lineage maybe? No matter the reason, a shitty thing to do. Because of him, record of Hatshepsut's accomplishments had effectively been erased, and it would take hundreds of years of archaeology to rediscover it.
So he must be holding a grudge, it seems like. Something.
Maybe.
I mean, sometimes grudges could be long growing.
That's true, I guess.
You could have woken up one day and been like, you know what, fuck that.
Actually.
There's also the possibility that, on day one, he's like, R.I.P. Hatshepsut, loved that lady, but I'm pharaoh now, hooray! And, he goes to meet with his advisors, and they're like, hey, nice to have you here. By the way, Hatshepsut, boy oh boy, she kicked ass. Well, you really
yeah,
better live up to this. And then day by day, it's Hatshepsut this, Hatshepsut that. 20 years of that adds up, and he's like, you know what, I'm tired of hearing to this lady. Let's wipe her from the books.
That's true. He's sitting in a
fair.
therapist's office 20 years later and
Yeah.
finally realizes the source of his pain.
Let's jump ahead some 3,300 years, whoa, all the way to 1903, when famed British archaeologist Howard Carter would unearth a non-royal tomb, today known as KV-60. Inside were some mummified geese, the mummy of Hatshepsut's royal wet nurse, and the mummy of another unidentified female. Mystery. Skip ahead another 100 or so years to 2007, and with the help of modern technology, a CT scan would confirm that the unidentified mummy was likely Hatshepsut after all.
Wow.
Now, with Hatshepsut's body finally accounted for, tests were conducted in an attempt to determine the cause of her death. So, what is the leading theory for how Hatshepsut died? A. She was mauled by a tiger, which presumably came from her trading partners in Punt. B. She had cancer as a result of her skin cream. Or C. Drinking poisoned wine at a banquet held in her honor.
I don't know.
B.
I don't either.
Beef boy. Sorry, beef.
That's man to you. I'm beef
Sorry,
man, not boy.
Sorry, beef boy. Beef man. Give it a. What do you got?
B, Cancer.
Oh.
Well,
And Ryan?
I put A, our Tiger Queen. I would just because I would like for her to have. been
God,
all
how
that.
horrible.
It's a pretty metal way to go. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
no.
That sounds awful. I guess Cancer's awful too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, point to the beef boy. She did have cancer as a result of her skin cream. CT scans done in 2007 showed Hatshepsut at the time of her death to have been in very poor health. According to evidence found in her pelvic region and spine, she suffered from cancer. Found amongst her possessions was a vial that contained skin cream, which made sense as there were known cases of skin disease in Hatshepsut's family. In that skin cream, however, pharmacologists discovered benzoapyrene, one of the most carcinogenic substances on Earth.
Wow. So just rubbing skin cancer on herself.
Yeah.
Though we have a better understanding of how she died, the
Ain't that fucked up? Things that people thought back in the day would heal you, kill you. How the hell did humanity live?
mystery as to why her legacy was erased remains not fully understood. Still, her body was found, and we know about her now, and she did a pretty great job as pharaoh.
In one of the, I watch History Channel a lot and Discovery Channel. I like stuff like that. Don't judge me. It's okay. I'm okay with it. Yeah, he did out of jealousy. From what I understood, he did respect her. He did love her for everything she did, but she also took the spotlight away from his father, which wasn't ideal for him because it could also make him look weak, and he never thought he could live up to her potential of how good of a person she was. And I'm pretty sure they said that there was bad blood from the time he was like 8 on, or at least one. And I know that he thought it was her putting him in the military was spiteful, like she just did that out of spite or something like that. I don't know. It's interesting to watch. I watched it. It was interesting.
Memory of her reign restored, her spirit can continue to live on for eternity.
Back in the stars.
That concludes our history lesson. I'm going to go tally the scores to see who
We need
receives
to
the
hear a song from either stars or Egyptian gods or the Sphinx. I want the song to be from the fucking Sphinx.
coveted cup and title of History Master. While I do that, please enjoy the special performance from one of the mummified geese found in Hatshepsut's tomb.
That's still pretty good.
The puppet history of 2020, that multiple choice section is going to be fucking brutal.
Surely not. Murder hornets couldn't be the answer. And it's like, but yes, it is.
Just awful. Oh,
Wow. Oh, she's a mummy.
Yeah, I'm a mummified goose.
looks like an ostrich.
No, I'm a goose. Very clearly a goose.
Looks like an ostrich.
Hatshepsut, she was competent as hell. They tried to wipe her from the books as far as we can tell. A pharaoh, you should know, she really held it down. Oh, just because she kept the peace, she don't deserve renown? Hatshepsut! Oh, you haven't heard? She stepped up and ruled Egypt and Thutmose III. A queen, a king, depends which glyphs you've seen. But by and large, she sure took charge and really nailed the thing. Hatshepsut, a funny claim to fame. Her husband, dad, and kinda son, they all had the same name. A pharaoh who narrowly missed her chance to rule. But luckily, the king-to-be was tied up with preschool. Hatshepsut, if you're still asking who, just shows a pharaoh's greatness can't be measured by their tomb. A queen, supreme yet surreptitiously interred. I should know me and my bro were mummified with her. Hatshepsut, committed to memory because you see, regrettably, she happens to be dead and we can help her out enormously, particularly spiritually. If every now and then-ish we could toss a kindly thought to she who nearly became history, not via Egyptology, but lost for all eternity. Erased though it's a mystery why anyone could possibly resort to such foul treachery. And so it's with respect that we remember on occasion she kicked ass.
All right. Cool.
Every time one of those songs come up, I feel like I'm like the living manifestation of that Jay-Z gif.
There's like kind of like head nodding around, like
We just head nod, concerned head nod.
yeah.
Whoa! Wow.
Wow.
Hell of a goose. Hell of a goose.
Hell of a goose.
Definitely a goose, not an ostrich as far as I can tell. Let's see how we did. Whoa! Knocked me down with a mummified goose feather. Ryan Graham is our history master! Woo! And he has so rightfully earned the coveted cup. Beef Boy, thanks for trying. Ryan, go claim your reward.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Recording a video.
Once I can get my hands in that little blue ball sack of a head that you have,
It's, yes!
No more.
coming off.
There's even jelly beans in this.
Try knowing more.
Oh my goodness, like jelly beans.
You've earned it, and we're so thankful for you coming by here today. Thank you, Ryan Graham, for playing. I want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you next week on another exciting episode of Puppet History. Goodbye! Oh!
I love puppet history. Oh, I'm so glad they covered that. I love Egyptian shit. I do. If y'all enjoyed that story as much as I did, please go down there, leave a like. It helps tremendously. And if you're a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, mummified geese / maybe potentially ostriches, think about subscribing. As always, be good to one another, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. That is so shitty, though. Like, they believe the only way you live on is to be remembered. Let's not remember them. Why? Well, she's kind of like, my mom, grandma, aunt, uncle, all this. She's just too much shit. She gotta go.